It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Brad Stevens after the game, or after every game, is very measured. Very, very, very rarely does he get on his team. Does he make pointed comments about his team? And he's very, professional. He's a very Midwestern guy in the postseason, in the post-game Zooms. And to the point where people have a misconception about who Brad Stevens really is. If you listen to Brad Stevens, if you have any ability to get close to the Celtics bench, you're going to hear your fair share of expletives from Brad Stevens. He is not shy about that. He is just a normal guy. He's not Mr. Aw shucks Midwestern guy. I'm from Indiana and I don't swear. No, he swears plenty. He's an NBA head coach. He has to deal with these guys and match their egos in practices and all of that stuff. But in the post-game Zooms, very professional, very middle of the road. And so when he's in these post-game Zooms, when he does drop a pointed comment or two, it's always very interesting. And I thought the comment that he made to basically wrap up his availability after the Cavs game was a very much a I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed kind of comment when talking about the defense.
Is there a short-term solution or strategy with in terms of coverages and things like that that you can talk to the guys?
It's a fine line, Bob, right? You want to try a bunch of different things in a game, but we have so many guys that are young that need to be good at the basics, and we're not. And so every rep with the basics is very important. And we don't need all of those guys to be playing next Tuesday, but we need one or two of them to be in there and playing. And obviously Tatum and a couple of the guys that are going to play big minutes. And, you're looking for that. You're looking for guys that will separate themselves just by doing their jobs hard and well and reliably on that end of the court, because that's what we're going to need. We have not been consistent in that regard. And, it's one of the reasons why we're where we are. And I think that's probably the most disappointing thing to me about our season. It hasn't been our, anything more than just we could be better defensively. We could be more physical defensively. We could be more connected defensively. And if we lose guys for any given amount of time, then we should be able to still defend. And, this team hasn't been.
It may sound kind of innocuous, but it feels very kind of like if you're a player and you hear that, it's almost like, oh man, because it's true. This team should be more physical. This team should be more engaged defensively. This team has had plenty of opportunity to win games just by stopping other teams, and they don't. This loss against the Cavaliers was their 15th loss against a below 500 team. 15 losses against a below 500 team. The formula for a winning record is beat the teams you're supposed to beat, split the games against the better teams, and you're going to have a great record, because basically half the league is going to suck. And in a normal season, 82 games, but in this one, 72, if you win half your games, what's 36? So if you beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and you split the games against the good teams. So let's say you're supposed to beat half the league, and you split your games against the other half of the league. That's 18. What's that? 44 wins, 54 wins, right? 36 and 54 wins. So check my math. I don't even know. I don't care. But it's a lot of wins regardless. But that's how the formula works every season. You got an 82-game schedule. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat. You split the teams against, you split the wins against the good teams, and you're going to be a 50, 60 win team. And so the Celtics have not taken advantage of that. But amazingly, inconceivably, they have a chance to not turn this around, because I think we're all clear on, like, they're not going to do anything serious here. This team it's done. You know, that turnaround that I thought was happening when they won a few games out west, that was wrong. They fooled me. You know, hand up, my bad. It was a bad. I thought it was going to turn around. They were healthy, and that health never, goes back to my point yesterday of the Miami, that Miami team being what the Celtics wish they could be. But defense is two things. It's effort and it's communication. That's all it is. Effort and communication. Now you have to get out there and repeat certain things and understand, like, each guy on the team has to understand what the other guy wants to do. And so there's a chemistry that has to be built over time, and practices help that stuff. Okay, so that's not going to be there, but communication can be there. They can talk. They can talk to each other. There's nothing that says they can't talk to each other. So I don't understand why they don't. Effort is, I've talked about effort a million times. Effort is something that they can you just do it. And so they're going to be the 7th seed. The opponent is yet to be determined. It could be the Pacers. It could be the Hornets. It could be the Wizards. Who knows if they win that 7th seed game? They could. All they got to do is win one. So even if they lose, they get to play another one, and they'd be the 8th seed. And hey, they play one of Philly or Brooklyn. And I've been saying, like, hey, I wonder if Brooklyn's going to be the viable option there. Maybe Brooklyn's going to be too hurt or maybe rusty, and the first round is going to be their most vulnerable round. And then I watched James Harden come off of a long absence and just carve the San Antonio Spurs to pieces. So any hopes of the Celtics beating the Nets, I don't know. But you know what they can do is go out there and make their lives difficult. They can go out there and make the first round opponent, whether it's the Nets or the Sixers or the Bucks, they can go out there and make it hell. And after all of this, after everything that we've watched this team do, it would be great to see a team go out there David and Goliath style and I don't expect them to beat that first round opponent, but take it to 6, take it to 7. At the very least, you can, if the Celtics go out there and take the Brooklyn Nets to 7 games and make it hell on Brooklyn, you can at least say, you know what? If they had, maybe if the season went differently, things could have been different. If they had Jaylen Brown, maybe things could have been different there. If they make the right moves, then the Celtics can join that group. Celtics fans should get that hope, right? Should get that hope. Starts with the defense. Brad Stevens calling his team out, basically saying, it's disappointing. We should be this, we should be that. We're not. Why aren't they? This is on the players. There's no practice time. The players have been there forever. Okay, you have to integrate Peyton Pritchard and Aaron Nesmith. But those guys can pick it up. They're smart. Tristan Thompson can pick it up. He's smart. The rest of the team has been there. And the guys who have been there can direct the other guys on the team on the floor. They're NBA players. They can learn it. They can figure it out. Communicate. Put in the effort. That's just a matter of doing it. Does this team want to be just like that team from a couple years ago? Do they? Do they care about not repeating that? Okay, at this point, I'm prepared for a first round exit. As a person who's creating Celtics content, I'm pissed about a first round exit because what happens after that, we'll deal with that when we get there. I'll still be doing my podcast. But don't you want to put up a fight? Don't you have any pride? Don't you have any... are you going to walk down the street and feel good about yourself? About the effort that you put in? Are you going to feel good about how this season ended? 2 out of the last 3 years going to end like this? Or are you going to go out with a fight? Okay, yeah, you're going to lose the fight. Maybe you feel like you're going to lose the fight. Doesn't mean you can't take somebody down with you. Put up a fight. Make them pay. If they're going to take you out, make them pay for taking you out. We're going to see how this goes. There's a weekend of games. Minnesota and New York. It's still possible the Celtics can fall to 8, but they're going to probably be the 7th seed. So the wins don't even matter. It's not even about the wins and losses at this point. It's about how they play. That's what I'm looking for.